I was skeptical about anything that was on an internet.
With eHarmony, they bring the matches to you.
When you're answering those questions, you're thinking about who and what you really are.
This isn't about looking through 1,000 pictures to see who you're attracted to.
This sample requires further investigation.
But we have to eliminate bias from our studies.
But I must say, this is a fine sample.
As you saw, there was a drastic difference between these two commercials despite their similar purpose. So what happened? Let's take a journey through online dating and see how this public controversy has shifted over time. Dating prior to the 21st century was not a private interaction between two people. Dating was a way to evaluate social status. Guys had to be able to charm girls, and girls had to be able to attract guys. And it was most concentrated on high school and college campuses. You would often see couples getting ice cream, or going to the movies, or going to football games. It was considered abnormal to have a privatized relationship or to be exclusive with one person. Dating was also a way to establish financial security. In the early 20th century, women sought out stable men to inherit their stability. Because financial security was most important, personality traits or common interests were not a way to find a suitable partner, rather materialistic items that displayed wealth were. World War II had a major influence on dating. Options became limited as more men were going into war, and men often came back with the intention of wanting to settle down. This is what allowed relationships to be more exclusive, personal, and intimate. Towards the end of the 20th century, dating took a more liberal approach. Historical landmarkings such as the women's movement and the introduction of birth control allowed for more options for women specifically. Women now had control over their own fertility and did not have to worry about unwanted pregnancy. Interactions between men and women developed into hookup culture. However, as technology has advanced in our modern life, dating has become more centralized around it. Computer matching systems originated in the 60s, but these applications of technology never truly took off until 1955 with the creation of Match.com. Since then, the number of dating apps has grown exponentially, with general dating sites such as eHarmony to specific sites such as Christian Mingle and Farmers Only. These sites alone have upwards of 60 million visitors a month. In this day and age, meeting someone online is only one phone touch away, clearly. And with the coming of modern-day dating online and through easily accessible apps comes a shift in society's views on the matter, per usual. In 2005, 44% of people thought that dating online was a good way to meet people, whereas in modern day, around 59% of people believe that meeting someone online is a good idea. The numbers tend to show something. However, there is always an underlying meaning that everyone is aware of but chooses to avoid confronting. So what is it exactly that makes online dating so appealing? It's easy and efficient. A major impact on the modern dating world derives from the innovation of Tinder. The popularity surrounding Tinder is its basic, simple swipe function, the flick of a finger on a picture. No elaborate profiles are necessary, and there is no fear of rejection. Users only know whether they've been approved, never when they've been discarded. It's the lack of any risk that appeals to this generation. You see, when it's good old cuffing season and you fall for someone in real life, asking them out also includes a huge risk, no return of feelings. Online dating can easily overcome this issue by providing people with no risk. Think of it if you're swiping on Tinder and when you swipe right on someone, you don't get a match with them. No emotional connection ever existed. No harm, no foul. A variety of stigmas are constantly surrounding the online dating world. People may be worried that online dating is coming off as you are desperate, and they are constantly questioned with people's opinions and asked, why can't you find a person in the real world? Because of the stigmas regarding online dating, some people feel like they have to sneak around or hide how they met their partner. We interviewed Dr. Kate Rosenberg on her experience with online dating.
Were you nervous to tell your friends and family at all that you had met someone?
Absolutely. Whenever I would go out with someone, I always had to come up with something. And how many times can you come up with what you did last? My parents watching my kid, so what were you doing last night? I mean, they didn't ever ask, but I couldn't, how many times could I say, I went to knitting club or something? I was clearly not at knitting club.
People used to meet their partners through proximity, whether it be family and friends, work, etc. But now, internet meeting is surpassing every other form. People now compare online dating, specifically Tinder, to online shopping. dating apps are the free market economy to sex. This newfound access to internet dating is promoting a culture that revolves around hookups. Let's take a look at what real Penn State students think.
I actually think positively of it. Because I had options. So it wasn't like I had to meet the person right there. They couldn't make me do anything. So I like it.
I think online dating is really fun and entertaining. But I don't think a lot of people take it seriously.
I'm not very fond of it. I think it eliminates the whole purpose of meeting people in person. You can kind of create your perfect self on there.
It's definitely more of the trend that people are going out to bars or like activities to meet people, but they're just like, oh, I'll go on Tinder, or I'll swipe this person, and then we'll meet and possibly start something.
There's an entirely new phenomenon of when people become engaged in sexual situations with one another and then never speak again. The hit it and quit it phenomenon, as this generation puts it. There is convenience and efficiency with dating apps such as Tinder. There is no dating, no relationships. They are rare nowadays. For example, you can have a fling that could last a few months and you could never actually define the relationship. Hooking up is easier and no one gets hurt. We asked students what was the first word that came to mind when they heard the word Tinder.
Self-gratification. Swipe right. Finesse. Swipe. Swipe.
Dating.
Sex.
Hookup. Great. Casual dating. Hookups?
Hookups.
Hookup. Yeah.
Hookup. Hookups.
Hookups.
Meaningless dates.
So now, the question society should ask itself is this good for women? Since the emergence of flappers and moderns in the roaring 20s, the debate about what is lost or gained for women regarding casual sex has been relevant. Some view this as an empowering part of being a woman. There's freedom and confidence. Others view this as leaving many women feeling devalued. Sex isn't stemming from emotional intimacy anymore. Instead, it is quite the opposite, which could be destroying female self-images. Psychology Today shows a study where young adults participating in casual sex had higher levels of distress and lower levels of happiness. With sex becoming more easily accessible to the public, numerous studies are showing a correlation between rise in popularity with online websites and rise in number of STDs or STIs. In 2015, a study done by health officials in Rhode Island released data that showed a dramatic spike in cases of syphilis, gonorrhea, and HIV in the previous year. Officials said that STD rates were higher because of high-risk behaviors, including the use of online sites or apps to arrange casual and often anonymous sexual encounters. It is not necessarily fair to put all the blame on these dating websites, since the actions of many are never one company's fault. However, these sites can be doing more to educate their users on the dangers of STDs, thus sparking a controversy, especially within the religious community. Many communities, like the religious community and even other cultures, are strictly against premarital sex. The hookup culture and spread of STDs associated with online dating is something which these communities strongly disagree with. Tinder, which has 50 million users, and Grindr, which has 10 million users, aren't doing enough. In the UK, the National Health Service is pushing major networks like Tinder and Grindr to advertise places that provide free or affordable condoms because of the role they're playing in the rise of sexually transmitted diseases among young men who have sex with men. Now, there are also sites promoting safer sex. For example, the Gay Men's Social Network Hornet allows users to indicate their HIV status in their profiles, choosing from among 5 options: negative, negative on PrEP, the pill to prevent HIV, positive, positive undetectable, and don't know. If a user chooses negative, he's asked to disclose the date of his last STD test, and Hornet then reminds users to get tested in 6 months. There are also dating sites entirely focused on connecting people with STDs. Positive Singles called itself the largest confidential herpes and STD dating network. The dating profile allows you to be upfront with any information that could deter one from furthering a relationship. Therefore, people don't have to go through the trouble of creating an emotional connection and then springing news on a significant other, only to then cause the end of the relationship. Online dating now reaches many facets of people, and it is not hard to find your match. But what does being matched with someone mean to you? Does it mean a long-term relationship? Does it mean being physically attractive enough for a temporary fling? Is being matched with someone just a way to boost egos, even if you don't engage with the person? In the end, it all comes down to preference.
So what would you say to someone who's thinking about online dating?
No, go for it.